First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question the
ridiculous.
way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
The time belongs.
I think it's very interesting.
Reclaiming my time.
I think it's very interesting.
You can
when
reclaim
he
your
talks
time,
about
but
they
reclaiming my time,
indicted,
Mr.
the
Chairman.
president said they
Close the
indicted
clock.
him twice.
Mr. Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock
did.
and stop the
he
clock and
indicted-
restore his time.
Okay, here we go with these
Committee will be in order.
theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New York. We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when you ask a question, the witness gets to answer. You may not like the answer, but she gets to
The
answer.
question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like the answer, Chairman,
Reclaiming my time.
because it's honest.
Reclaiming
So
my-
he asked a
Reclaiming my
4-minute
time.
question.
Restore 45
and
seconds to
I am
Mr. Nadler,
going
please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
Answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaiming-
Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me
Yeah, I
anything,
did tell you because we
washed
saw
up
what you did in the
loser
Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I
Not a
said that
few more,
already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler. Go
All
ahead.
right.
Reclaiming my time. The answer to my question, how many of Epstein's co-conspirators has she indicted, is 0. You have been the Attorney General for a whole year, and your DOJ fired the lead prosecutor of this case, sat on evidence this entire time, and claimed falsely last July that there were no more leads. It took an act of Congress for you to finally release part of the Epstein files, and when you did, you included personal information about the victims while protecting the names of abusers.
Time of the gentleman
None
has
of the perpetrators have
expired.
been brought to justice, but enormous resources
Time
have been
of the
dedicated to
gentleman has
pursuing Trump's
expired,
enemies.
and
It's
obviously
clear
there
that
was-
under your leadership, the Department of Justice
There was
no longer
no
works
question
for the
in
American
there.
people. It works
Order to
for Donald
respond to.
Trump. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.
You remember that photo. February 11th, 2026. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, sitting there at congressional hearing about the Epstein files. 2 times. Survivors raised their hands, trying to show they reached out to the DOJ and gotten nothing. Every hand raised, every plea for acknowledgement, met with silence. Pam Bondi didn't even look at them. She turned away. She didn't even glance. The image went viral, and for good reason. It's a perfect snapshot of what happens when power decides victims are irrelevant. If you think all of this is a coincidence, or just crazy talk, let me break it down. This isn't just one bad person ignoring survivors. It's a system built to protect the powerful, to shield them from consequences, and to make sure the truth never fully comes out. The Epstein story is the roadmap. Millions of pages. Over 3.5 million in January 2026 alone. Hundreds of gigabytes of FBI evidence. And somehow, almost nobody of real influence has faced prosecution. The narrative we are fed is that there's no client list, no credible evidence of blackmail, and most names in the files are just passing mentions. Convenient, isn't it? A network that exploited the most powerless people on Earth ends with exactly 1 man in jail and a mountain of redacted PDFs. When Congress pressed Bondi on why more names weren't being investigated, she dodged, stonewalled, refused to even say how many perpetrators were under active scrutiny. And of course, fact-checkers and official spokespeople rushed in to tell everyone the viral claims about systematic collapse, if all the names were prosecuted, were fake. But think about that. The only thing the system moves quickly to protect is its own image, not the people who suffered. This is what cover-up looks like today. Not someone shredding a single folder in a dark office. It's slow. It's bureaucratic. It's a suffocating maze of vague memos. endless ongoing investigations, and redacted files. It's a media cycle that turns decades of abuse into memes, political arguments, and hashtags. All while the people at the top, the aging billionaires who fund campaigns, own media, and control platforms, stay untouched. The people most invested in keeping this hidden don't just want to protect individual reputations. They want to protect the architecture of power itself. They've built a system where a handful of people own the data, the platforms, the politicians, and the justice process. And in such a system, the rules bend to protect those at the top. Predators and financial criminals can walk free, while ordinary people pay subscription fees, inflation, and the cost of living that funds their lifestyles. Voting harder won't fix it. One election, one hearing, one viral outrage cycle. They don't change the structure. Real change starts when people refuse to emotionally invest in a game that is rigged. When you stop worshipping their wealth, stop defending their idols, and start seeing ordinary people as allies instead of enemies. That's when the system starts to break. That's when you become ungovernable in the one place the elites actually need to control: your mind. The Epstein files touched both sides of the political spectrum. Mentions of Clinton, ties to Trump early on, and still, no deep probes. Bondi hyped the list. The DOJ backtracked. The files named celebrities like Woody Allen, texting Epstein, and yet, no cuffs. Congress fights for full release. The DOJ slow rolls. Victims testify that they are ignored. And Bondi's backturn during the hearing says it all. The elites don't care. Follow the money. Look at post-conviction emails between politicians, professors, tycoons. The FBI holds 300 gigabytes of evidence and says there's no case. Victims are betrayed. The game is designed to divide us while the rich protect each other. The solution isn't rage porn, viral outrage, or relying on a single election. It's about building alternatives, local networks, mutual aid, bank-free money systems, platforms outside elite control. It's all about withdrawing blind loyalty from parties, personalities, and idols. Look at the files. They show flights, meetings, and encounters that are dismissed as passing references. The DOJ says nothing actionable exists, but the haunting truth is in the image of Bondi ignoring survivors. That moment captures the reality that power doesn't care about justice, and you can't rely on the system to fix itself because it wasn't built to. You have to start with yourself. Free your mind. Stop letting billionaires and politicians set the narrative. Stop protecting corruption because it comes wrapped in a flag, a brand, or a smile. Stop giving your attention to people who are part of the problem. When you do that, you hit the system where it really hurts. You make yourself, your community, and your information environment ungovernable. That's the real threat to their order. The Epstein case is just the tip of the iceberg. Networks of abuse, war profiteering, financial crime, they all follow the same patterns. And every time a victim is ignored, every time the DOJ slow rolls, every time the media treats it as partisan theatre, the message is clear. The system exists to protect those who already have everything, and you exist to keep it functioning. So what do? You cut the feeders. You stop supporting the platforms, the institutions, the brands, and the people who thrive on your obedience. You grow local networks of trust and cooperation. You create alternative systems for money, media, and community. You refuse to worship billionaires. You refuse to turn victims into memes. And you refuse to let outrage cycles replace justice. That's how you fight this. That's how you survive. Not just as a consumer of information, but as a human being who refuses to play a rigged game. And this is why that single photo matters. Pam Bondi turning her back is not just contempt for survivors. It's a symbol of a system designed to fail victims. It's a symbol of how the elites operate. And if you see it clearly, it shows you what you need to do. Become ungovernable, refuse the script, build your own power, and refuse to feed the system that thrives on your complicity. The files exist. The names exist. The abuse existed. The system let it happen. And the only way it changes is when ordinary people stop giving it their energy, their attention, and their obedience. That's how you break it. That's how you become free.